Hello and welcome back. This is Steve of Bucks Coins and welcome to the channel. Today we're looking at, come back down. We're looking at a first aid cover with the accompanying postcards that was issued on the 30th of November 2024. Like the coins, or the coin, the £2 coin, that was not released as an individual coin from last year's set. It was to celebrate Churchill's 125th year since his birth. So the first one is a 2 second class stamp. I have mostly worked or acted in politics as I felt I wanted to act. This is a quote from Churchill when he was early in his career. He was probably a liberal at this point and in the cabinet. And it shows a very young Winston Churchill, but not the Churchill that we saw, but slightly older than the coin. And it's this top left one here. The bottom left one is the one that we recognise from the coin. I have faith in my star that I am intended to do something in the world. This is Winston Churchill in the £2 coin that has become quite a controversial coin that was issued last year. Oh, excuse me. This was the portrait that was on the coin, and everybody said this is not Churchill. We don't recognise this as Churchill. Excuse me. Simple fact of the matter is Churchill lived a very long time, and he did many jobs during that time. He wasn't just a politician. This particular photograph, and the one that was depicted on the coin, show him in his hussar's uniform that he had when he was around during the time before the First World War. He was born in the 125 years. He was born at the back end of the 1800s. So it would have been it had probably been when he went to Africa. Then comes one of his more famous quotes, and one of his more famous, and you get to see Churchill as a lot of us nowadays remember him, as an more elderly man with the Homburg hat and the V for Victory sign. We'll fight them on the beaches, which of course was a quote from one of his famous speeches in Parliament about how the British were going to react to the war with Nazi Germany. This is probably the most famous of the Churchill poses. Homburg hat, V for Victory sign. You ask, what is our aim? And I can answer in one word, it's victory. This again was another one of Churchill's famous quotes. Probably not as well as We'll Fight Them on the Beaches, but or the one about the RAF being what was it? Those few guys and all the rest of it. So this next coin, this next stamp shows Churchill painting, which is this one here. You see my finger? This one here. Now, Churchill painted a lot, and he did a lot during the time when he was out of politics, sometimes referred to as his wilderness years. And one of the quotes that he had at that time is, "We may content ourselves with a joyride in a paint box," referring to one of his favourite pastimes. And a lot of his paintings are actually worth quite a bit of money now if you can get hold of them. Oops, let's just get that one. This bottom one here is of him and his wife together, and the quote that went with it, "I married and I lived happily ever afterwards." And that's the actual blow up of the stamp. The lady he married was Clementine, and all the time that I was alive, and when he was alive, she was there alongside him, and you never questioned that they wouldn't be together, or it didn't seem that it would ever be any other way that they wouldn't be totally together. Then we come to the last two stamps. Both of them are £2 stamps, and the first one is the one on the top where he's looking at a speech or something like that. "The greatest tie of all its language, words are the only things that last forever." So that accompanied this particular quotation. The one stamp I'm fairly surprised that they didn't have is the one where he was talking about the RAF, because that was one of his more famous speeches about the few. And the last £2 stamp, however, is "I had the luck to be called upon to give the roar." This was him talking about what he did when he was appointed, or first heard about his the appointment of the Prime Minister during the wartime period. So there are 8 stamps with 8 postcards covering the man who to many was the greatest Briton of the 20th century. It's hard to know exactly what gave him that edge, gave him that total belief in what he was doing. However, we were very lucky to have him during the war. Virtually straight after the war, the next election, he was booted out as Prime Minister, and the first Labour government came in. However, he did come back to being Prime Minister again later in the 50s. So, this puts to bed Winston Churchill for probably another 10 or 12 years before the next lots of celebration starts. How much he will be associated with the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, which is this year, 2025, I don't know. Whether there will be, I would presume there'll be a stamp set, and whether he'll be on that or not, I don't know. There's at least one coin coming out, which I believe is the 50p, which has Stories of World War II, I believe it's called, if I remember rightly, and just has 3 medals going across it. It's very similar to the way that the Victoria Cross is depicted on the 50p. Will there be other coins coming out from places like Jersey, the Isle of Man? What else may there be? Other Commonwealth countries celebrating the end of the World War II. Yes, I can see that happening. Whether they will include Churchill or not, I don't know. So until all of this comes out in the wash over the next few months. We'll have to wait and see how or if Churchill is commemorated with the end of World War II in coinage and in stamps. If you've enjoyed this particular video, could you please give me the thumbs up? It doesn't cost you anything and it helps me no end. Also, if you've not done so already, could you please at least think about subscribing to the channel? I've reached, at the beginning of 2025, I stood on 372 subscribers. By the end of this year, I'd like to get possibly around 450 to 500 if the channel's to grow in the same rate that it currently is. So your help is needed as always, and if you can help me out, I'll be grateful if you believe I deserve it. If you're having a hunt, then I hope you have a successful one and you find the coins you're looking for. If you're buying coins, then I hope you can get the coins you want for the price you pay, or the price you want to pay. And until we meet up again on this channel, which I hope will be not too far in the distant future, from me, thank you for staying to the end, and bye bye. Ta-da now.